Hi everyone, this is Lien and welcome back to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a really simple card where I'm using the Nutty Friends from Crafty Meraki together with a really simple stencil that is forming a circle. So I have these adorable images from the Nutty Friends stamped out and I'm using my Copic markers to color all of these in. I'm using the same color combinations for both of them, keeping it really simple because, well, as you know me, I like a clean and simple card. I cannot help myself. And having some basic stencils as I'm using today is really handy. If you don't have a stencil like that, you can always use some dies and cut a circle out of a piece of paper that you have and use this piece of paper as your stencil. So there are many ways to recreate this card. I tend to keep it as simple as possible, as I already said, but you do you. If you want to add a zillion images, you want to create a scene, then you do that. You do whatever makes you comfortable and whatever you like doing. That's the most important thing. So for the inside of the ears, I have E13 and E11, as well as for the little nose, but that one is so tiny that I don't think that you see it very well on the video. And as I said, the other one will get exactly the same colors. I'm also someone that is coloring from darkest to lightest. It's personally my favorite way to copy color, but if you prefer adding your first layer of your lightest color or to color in another completely different way and that gives you that result that you want, then definitely do you and have fun while coloring. I know that in the beginning I tried a lot of ways and a lot of ways work, but in the end I decided to go with this one, and since then I just kept doing from darkest to lightest. That's just what I do lately, but I know that there are many ways out there, and depending on what you prefer, I think it will all work out how you want it to be. Another thing that I need is at least 2 layers. So whenever I'm coloring, except maybe when it's a really tiny part of an image or whatever, I need 2 layers to get that blend that I want, and depending on how much I had of my lightest color, I can go a bit further with the other markers to sort of balance it a bit more out. But that's just me. It's maybe also the paper. I'm using Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper. It's a paper that allows a lot of layers, which is something that I definitely need when I am copy coloring without the bleeding issue, and it also really blends really well. As you can see here, I'm really building it up. The tail is so much fun. I love these two squirrels, how they are seated or laying down or however you want to call it. And there is also this amazing tree in the stem set where you can easily mix and match all of the stems together. It's an amazing stem set. So once I was happy with the coloring, I fussy cut these images out. When I started playing with these sets, I didn't have the matching dies yet. Now I have them, I love them, but for these videos I still had to fussy cut it for a bit, and it worked out fine, but I just prefer having a die to make my life a bit easier. Next I have an A2 sized panel, and I'm just going to adhere the stencil temporarily to this panel where I want it to be, and then I'm going to just have a really soft glow of distress ink all around the circle. So I'm going to use Pistachio, which is my favorite distress ink color so far. You never know with the new colors coming out, but so far it's my favorite. I checked whether the stencil was sort of in the middle of my panel, and once I was happy with placement, I just used this blending brush to get a bit of that color on the edges of the circle. As you can see, nothing difficult. I just went from on the stencil towards the inside of the stencil, getting a bit of ink on there, and then I stopped. Now for the sentiment, the lovely thing about this stamp set is that you have some incredible sentiments in the set itself. I'm just going to stamp it out using the same ink as I used for the images. And I'm stamping it a few times until I'm happy with the impression. I don't prep my stamps ahead of time, so sometimes I need to add quite a lot of well, sometimes I need to repeat the stamping quite a lot, but that's just because I don't prep my stamps and because they were new. But once I use them, they are just perfect to go every time again. I added the images using some thin foam squares, and then I could add this panel on top of my card base. There we go. And then of course I had to finish this card. You can leave it like this definitely. I love clean and simple, so this worked perfectly. But I also love some heart sprinkles. So that's what I added to my card. I added some heart sprinkles, the red ones. There are several in this jar. But I tend to always use one color combination when I'm making a card. But anything goes. The pink ones goes, well, the white or the red, anything. So I fiddled a bit with placement, but once I was happy I could adhere all of these hearts using some liquid glue. And then I didn't add anything more. So once the hearts are adhered, this card is completely finished. It's a really simple card, as I said in the beginning, but I think it has quite enough of an impact to leave it as is. I also think that the red pops with the other colors that I used on this card, so I hope that you like the card as much as I do, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you all for stopping by and taking the time to watch it and to join me in my crafty adventure here on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. If you're curious to see what I used, I list everything in the description box down below, so definitely check it out if you want to know what I used exactly. And that's it for me. That's it for today. I want to wish you all an incredible weekend. I hope that it will be crafty, and I'll be back soon. Bye!